Today I'm explaining MC-707 tracks, clips, and scenes. But before that, today's patron shoutout goes to Meownoid. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. Okay, yes, elephant in the room. I do have a Roland MC-707 here. A friend of the channel was so very gracious and sent theirs over to me. They do wish to remain anonymous, so I will just say one more because I've told them so many times already, but a huge thank you. This is awesome. All right, let's dive in. So the MC-707 has 8 available tracks, as you can see, represented by these columns here that have 3 knobs and a fader and a track select button each. You can also see them represented over here on the screen in the columns. So all of this first column here is track 1, and then I can move over with the arrows to track 2, track 3, track 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I can also switch between them with the track select buttons. Also, I forgot to mention, but this video is going to assume that you are on the latest firmware, by the way, which you can grab from Roland's website. So we've got 8 different tracks. Now, within those tracks are 16 individual clips per track, and those are also represented vertically here. Right now I'm on track 1, clip 1. If I scroll down, now I'm on track 1, clip 2, track 1, clip 3, and so forth, all the way down to 16. And each individual clip can have up to 128 steps in it, meaning as long as you have your steps scaled to 16th notes, and you're in 4/4 time, you're gonna get 8 measures per track at maximum, with the ability to select any amount of steps in between that and 1. If we do the math and add up 8 measures per clip at 16 clips per track, we come to the conclusion that we can have up to 128 measures of unique sequenceable music per track per project. Now, I've got a drum kit here on track 1. The other track types are tone, meaning an internal synth. And if we select an empty track, we can also see that we can make a drum track with a compressor or a looper track. So here on track 1, I'm just gonna go ahead and record a very basic drum pattern here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my metronome. Let's do this. All right, my timing was terrible, so I'm going to hit Shift and quantize, and I'm just going to quantize this clip 100%. There we go, that's better. I'm gonna turn off the click now. There we go. So now if we look at the grid, we can see that our clip is playing right there. We're on track 1, clip 1. Let's go ahead and record something on track 2. Gonna turn quantize on before I record and throw something down here. Cool, now we can see track 2 is going. Okay, let's record something on track 3. This is all just for the sake of demonstration, and let's put a little lead line on track 4. So now that we have a few clips across a couple different tracks, we can start talking about scenes. Scenes are combinations of clips that you can recall at any given time. Now, if you look over here, you'll see the scene buttons, and you might think, okay, well, looks like we've got 4 available scenes, and then if you look under, it shows that the shift function gives us 4 more. So you might think that you get 8 scenes per project. But if you're on the latest firmware update and you plan on using scenes, I'm going to highly recommend that you do something to give yourself. So hold Shift, press knob assign, which takes us to utility. Then using the arrows, make sure you are on the set page and hit enter. Then you're going to scroll all the way down here, second from the bottom, to call scene, and you're going to set that to type 2. Then you can hit exit. What this does is turns these scene buttons into bank buttons. So you'll actually get up to 128 scenes per project. So if I hit the scene 1 button, now these sequencer buttons will represent individual scenes within that bank. So pushing 1 and then going here would be bank 1, scene 8. Going here would be bank 4, scene 8. You get the idea. Now, something very important that it actually took me some time to realize, scenes are not at all represented on the screen. All that's represented are the actual individual clips playing. So if we want to save a combination of clips as a scene, the way we're going to do that is by going down here to clip mode. What clip mode does is it turns these 2 rows of pads into 2 rows here on the grid. So you can see if I scroll down where we don't have any clips, all of a sudden I don't have any clips to trigger. But if I go up here, we can see we've got 4. Now right now, all 4 of our clips are playing. So if I wanted to make a scene with all 4, I'd be great. But if I want to take some out to make a scene, I have to go to mute mode. Now these 4 green pads up here represent the 4 clips that we have active. So let's say I want to take the lead out. Well, I know that's on track 4, so I'm actually going to toggle off the clip. The orange pads just mute it. This actually stops the clip. Let's say I also want to take the chords out, okay? We're going to take the chords out right there. Now our scene should just be the drums and the bass. And we can look on the screen and see that reflected there as well. Now let's save this as our first scene. It's also important to note that if you're going to use scene chaining, which we'll cover in just a minute, you can only do it sequentially. So we're going to want to save this as scene 1. Bank 1, scene 1 rather. So to save it, we're going to hold down the bank button of the bank that we want to save our scene in. We're going to hold it down, and as we hold it down, the screen will eventually say select scene, store. We're still holding down the bank button. Now we can select whichever slot we want to save it to. So I'm going to pick number 1, and it says store scene 1-1, as in bank 1, scene 1. Now, no matter what clips I have active, if I hit scene 1, it's going to trigger scene 1. Now, let's program something in for scene 2. Let's bring the chords in. So all I want to do here is just re-enable this clip. And to ensure that it's the clip we want, we can actually go back to clip mode and look and be like, okay, yep, we're on the right row. We want clip 3. Now we've got the clips playing that we want in our scene. Let's once again hold down scene button number 1 because that's going to be our bank. We're going to hold it down until the screen says store. Now we're going to store that in slot 2. So now scene 2 brings in the chords. Going back to scene 1, drops those chords out. I'm going to make a third scene now that's just our little lead line. So I'm going to stop these 2 clips. To do that, I go to mute mode, and I turn them off, back to clip mode, and I'm going to turn on track number 4 here with this clip. Okay, I'm going to save that as scene number 3. So I'm going to hold down scene button number 1 till it says store, and then push 3. Now that's stored as bank 1, scene 3. So now we have 3 scenes here. I'm now going to show you how to chain these together to sort of have like a pseudo song mode. So this can only be done in the mute mode. So we're going to go to mute, and when we're in mute mode, we actually get the step sequencer buttons permanently lit up as our scenes. And we can switch banks just like this here with the different buttons, including to the other banks as well. But we're going to go in bank 1 since that's where our scenes are. So let's turn on scene chaining for scene number 1. To do that, simply hold shift and press number 1. On the screen, we can now see that if we turn this leftmost knob here, it's going to turn chain on. Over here, we can see we can change the length. This is the number of bars that we want the scene to run for before it goes to the next scene. So in this case, I want this to go for 4 bars. Now let's do this for scene 2. So shift, and I'm going to push scene 2. By the way, in this menu, you can also just switch what scene you're editing for the chain by pushing the sequencer button. And if you ever get lost, you can look at the top of the screen. It says 1-2, so bank 1, scene 2. Chain is already on since we turned that on in the first scene, but I want to change the length for scene 2 to 3 measures. And that's because I want to go to scene 3 and set that to only play for 1 measure before moving on. It's going to be kind of like a break. Now what I want to do is go back to scene 1, and we're going to have a listen, and we're going to watch our scenes play through. So this one's going to play 4 times, this one's going to play 3 times, this one's going to play once. Here we go. Okay, Now it really feels like it should go back to scene number 2, where we have the chords and the bass and the drums and everything going. However, like I said, they chain sequentially. So unfortunately, we can't tell it, oh, just go back and play scene 2 after scene 3 right here. We actually need to make scene 4 a copy of scene 2. Luckily, this is relatively easy to do. We need to select scene 2, and if we hit play, we'll hear it. Make sure it's the right scene. We can push exit. Yep, make sure everything looks good there. So remember when I said that scenes take place outside of the screen? As far as the MC-707 knows right now, all that's happening is our first 3 clips are playing. So we can simply just go ahead and save this to scene 4, and it won't affect anything in scene 2. So to do that, hold bank 1, wait till it says store, click 4, there we go. Now let's go ahead and adjust the chain settings for scene 4. So remember that's shift and our scene while we're in mute mode. And chain is on. Let's set length to 4 here. Let's have a listen. Just make sure everything copied over to scene 4. Okay, that works. Now let's bring in the clip from track 4. Cool. And let's save that as scene 5. So I'm going to hold down bank 1, store it as scene 5, go back to mute mode. Gonna hold shift and 5 to adjust the chain settings. We're gonna set that length to 4 measures as well. Okay, now if we go back to scene 1 and hit play, we should have like the very beginnings of a song. Now it's gonna move to scene 2 in a second. Here we go. Here comes our break. Here comes scene 5. There we go, and a little bit of fun with the master effects there. So there you go. That's the basics of tracks, clips, and scenes. It should be noted that there's another neat thing that the MC-707 can do, and that is actually have different sounds per each clip on the same track, as long as they're the same track type. So you could have a tone track with multiple synth sounds between different clips, multiple drum kits between clips, multiple loops between clips. You get the idea. Hopefully this video helped you out. The only reason I made it was because I was like really looking hard for a concise video showing this information when I was researching the MC-707, and I couldn't really find one, so I decided it would be the first video I made with it. There's a lot here. We are going to absolutely revisit this in the future because it is a monster, and spoilers, I'm incorporating it into my live rig, which, yeah, it's changing again, I know. Anyway, I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.